speak to you about selling to high net worth clients, especially in financial services. Now, I come from a financial services background, and one of the biggest changes I made was to go out and sell to high net worth clients. This way you can do the same amount of work, but you can double or triple your income. But you've got to know how to do it. You've got to know how to actually work with high net worth clients. Well, here's some of the things you've got to think about. The first thing is you've got to be mixing with the people you want to sell to. If you try and phone them, you're going to really struggle to get through. You're going to get through to some gatekeeper. She's going to say, what is it all about? And you're dead. You're not going to get the appointment. So you've got to be mixing with the people you want to sell to. And this is what I started to do. I started to mix with very high profile people. Young Presidents Organization, Entrepreneurs Organization. These are young entrepreneurs, 28 to 32 years old, who are multi-millionaires. They have chapters all over the world. Vistage and Tech, the world's largest CEO organization. If you're a financial advisor, you've got to learn how to stand up and speak and present, and you go and speak to these groups, talk to them about some of the challenges they face and how you can help them to overcome some of these challenges. You see, your products, all your products are doing is they're a solution to the problem for somebody. And believe it or not, a lot of high net worth clients and business owners have the same kind of problems where your products can go in and fix it for them. And then again, there's Academy of Chief Executives, and there's lots and lots of CEO groups. But one of the first things you've got to do is you've got to understand the keys to working with top executives or CEOs. You see, you've got to have great confidence. When you go in there, they will tell you, they'll say, I've got 10 million to invest. This is what I want to do. You've got to have the confidence to speak at their level. So I'd suggest going and joining Toastmasters International, and this will help you to improve your speaking skills, to become a great presenter. You've got to talk the top executives' language. I speak to these groups all over the world. You know what? Top executive has an attention span that big. If I walk in, the first thing I say to them is, how much time have you set aside for this appointment? They don't have a lot of time. So you've got to talk their language. You've got to understand them. Join a non-profit organization. This is where you're mixing with these kind of people. You've got to have that unlimited desire to succeed and a lot of energy. And you've got to have the ability to build business rapport, which is totally different to your normal kind of rapport. Now, building business rapport, you've got to make a great first impression, whether that be face-to-face, on the phone, by mail, or email. An email has got to be short and sweet, and you've got to listen, because CEOs or top executives will tell you what they want. So really, what are they interested in? What are their big interests? It's all about himself, the company's image, the mission statement, the vision statement. It's all about the team. What do the team want? How do they stay ahead of their competitors? Measurable, tangible results. You've got to go into their website. You've got to find out everything about this company. And I use a couple of things like Google Alerts to find out about top executives I'm going to go and see. I use another site called yasni.com, YASNI, that tells me about those executives. You see, I want to know everything about them before I go in and see them. Many years ago, I had an appointment to go and work with a company in Turkey. I was booked by the sales director. I went in and I did a Google search on the CEO. I found out that he was interested in music. I dropped him an email and said, I see you're interested in music, so am I. I used to be a professional musician. He phoned me back 10 minutes later and invited me to his house. And since then, I've done so much work. You see, you've got to take a personal interest in those top executives. You've also got to think about what is it that keeps them awake. What are some of the needs that thing is business succession planning. Almost 80% of businesses in the world are family-owned businesses. And they want to know, what is our succession plan? Now, the thing is, you can go in, you can set up trusts. Your policies will solve their problems. Estate planning is huge. If you're anywhere in a place like England or America, one of you die, there's going to be some estate duty problems, up to 40 or 50%. Wealth management. You know, these people have spent so much time creating their wealth. They now want to know, how do I manage that wealth? Sometimes it's expanding their business. How do we bring in new people? If you bring in new people, you build the golden handcuffs by putting in policies for them. There's so much you can do. Managing their global assets. I've met a lot of wealthy people, and they'll have 3 businesses in India, they'll have 2 in Singapore, 3 in England, and 5 in America. How do they manage those global assets? So sometimes you're going to be working with some solicitors or accountants. The normal kind of business needs over their partnership. If there's 2 or more partners, what happens if the one dies? Well, that's easy. You go and set up partnership insurance and you fund it with life insurance policies. What if there's a key man in that business that if that person's not there anymore, the business is in big trouble? Will you take out a policy to cover that? How do you retain high-level staff? Will you put in group pension funds? You put in group provident funds. You put in group life funds. There's so much you can do. Again, your policies or your plans just solve the problems for these high net worth people. Selling the business. Well, if they sell the business, the one person's coming to a lot of money, you help them to invest that. The new person that's just bought the business, they need a group life scheme, they need all kinds of other things, they need insurance, they might have borrowed money. So you've got to put yourself into the position of the high net worth clients and say, what are some of the problems that I can solve for them? Now, a lot of the times I used to do presentations to them, and this is what I think is a formula for a good financial services presentation. It's got to be pretty short and sweet. The first half, 45 minutes, then a break. Second half, 30 minutes, you have a break in between. The first half, really, you talk about inflation over 20 years, but you've got to be speaking real term. I say, what did a loaf of bread cost you 20 years ago? What does it cost you today? What did a beer cost you 20 years ago? What did a car cost you 20 years ago? What did it cost you today? People can understand this. I then look at 10-year bank rates, and they seem to be coming down and down. Putting your money in the bank is not the right answer many, many times. And then we look at equities over the last 10 years. The second half, we get involved in some micropal charts, case studies. People love case studies, and then questions and answers. But some of the things you've got to be answering is choosing an investment advisor. I speak to them about your investment advisor, your financial advisor must have testimonials. He's got to have people vouching for him. He's got to have the right kind of credentials. There's got to be great customer care and service. How good is his backup? How often is he going to contact you? Is he accessible? Or when you send an email, don't you hear him? Can you get hold of him? And is he going to get back to you pretty quickly? They've got to be prepared to discuss costs openly. You know, nowadays, high net worth clients are very switched on. They know everything about costs. Discuss those costs openly. And you must be a specialist in business insurance or helping high net worth clients. You can't be a general practitioner in financial services. If you want to work with high net worth clients, you have to become a specialist. And your knowledge has got to be absolutely fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of power phrases as well. I've put together a whole program, a 15 CD set, and in it I have a whole lot of visuals because you've got to get the emotional connection. You've got to use power phrases. This is one of the power phrases. When you retire, it won't matter how much money you've earned when you retire, just how much money you've saved. Now, there are many, many more visual aids I use for high net worth clients. You see, I've got to make them uneasy. I've got to get them into an emotional unrest state before they're going to do anything with me. Now, if you want to find out more, please take a look at my program, www.training-financial-advisor.com. It's a 15 CD set. There is absolutely everything